It was a reality check for Hawthorn last week down in Launceston, and they've bounced back in dominant fashion this evening. And as Matty said, the winning streak for the Blues comes to a grinding halt. It was said they needed to win one of either this week or next week, Hawthorn or Collingwood. We put a line through tonight, and all of a sudden, all eyes for Carlton fans light up toward next Saturday night against the Pies back here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Oh, a huge game of football next week, and first of all, Hawthorn outstanding tonight. They're setting their back end of the year up very well, but Blues versus Carlton next week, both vying for the same, basically probably the same spot in the 10 in some aspects. So bounce back game for the Blues. Pies just getting across the line last night, so sets it up for an absolute cracker, and I'm sure the Carlton fans will rock up. They rock up even in the pouring wet rain on a Saturday night to support their side, so they'll be there next week.
What do you like most about Hawthorn, Meg?
Well, I think we've made a point about how much they've responded to last week, but what's really impressive is how they responded within the game last week. I think that's a sign of their maturity, and then they just continued that on to tonight. I think their defensive integrity is really something to behold. You can see it especially when you're live at the ground, the way they work for each other, the way their role clarity is such that you can have a player like Mraz come in and shine because he knows what role he's there to play. And then you look at the middle of the ground, they've got Day, their skipper is unbelievable. Well, both of their skippers are unbelievable. Newcomb's having some sort of season, and then, they've got veterans putting it on the scoreboard.
133 693 is the number. 133 693. We invite you to come and join us all with thanks to Nick Theodosi, Prestige Cars. Plenty to get through between now and 11 o'clock. We'll get down to the Hawthorn rooms, down to the Carlton rooms. It has been a busy day of football as well. St Kilda earlier today over Port Adelaide by 14. The Giants kicking 9 of the last 10 goals of the match to defeat Geelong by 13 points. Here at the MCG tonight, it was Hawthorn by 64. And in the other game this evening, that between Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns in Adelaide, three-quarter time. And who would have thought we might have the close one on this Saturday evening, because it is a 60-point deficit at three-quarter time in Adelaide. 13-12-90. The Gold Coast Suns 4-6-30. That will make it 7 losses in a row to the Gold Coast Suns.
Just fallen apart, Gold Coast, haven't they?
They have completely fallen off the cliff, and in a bad, bad way. And all of a sudden, you go back to rounds 3 and 4. We were talking about them as premiership favourites, and now they may be lucky to even finish inside the top 10.
Yeah, I don't think they will finish inside the top 10, and nor do they deserve to be honest. They've been incredibly poor since about round 4 or 5. Let themselves down for large parts of the year in the clearance part of the game, and they were just surviving off pure talent and ability to move the ball, and now that's dried up, and they're looking really, really poor across the last month, especially. And heat should be on them as a footy club when it all comes down to it. They've got all the talent that they need up there. They brought in extras this year to make them even better. Damien Hardwick, great coach over the modern era at the helm as well. That they've got everything that you'd think to be successful off a finals win last year. So hugely disappointing year for the Suns.
Yeah, and the scoreboard here is highlighting the fact that Carlton's next home game is against the Suns. We keep looking ahead to Collingwood. This one will be an enormous game as well now for both clubs, because both clubs will be possibly in that wild card position, possibly not. But the one thing about Hawthorn as well, or another thing about Hawthorn, is if we look ahead at their next 3 rounds, then you'd think they've got a big percentage boost coming up as well. They've got Richmond, followed by Essendon, followed by North Melbourne. So you'd think that they're all but guaranteed a top 4 spot now, especially considering what's happened to Geelong today.
I want to talk about the Blues, because we'll talk about Hawthorn as they just hand out the footies around the ground and make their way back to the race. Do you give Carlton a mulligan tonight? The fact, given the conditions coming up against a top 4 side, they'd won 7 in a row. The whole, narrative around the Blues had shifted this year. They come up against a top 4 side. Awful conditions, some of the worst we've seen in years, in fact, here at the MCG. They drop it, yes, a substantial loss, but do you give them a mulligan and then, wait to judge them following next week against Collingwood?
Yeah, I probably do. That's probably my mindset. They've been up there for the last 7 weeks and playing off that emotional high, and then you come up against it. It's not like they've lost to a poor side here. This is a genuine premiership threat in the league, and playing ultimately at their best tonight. So it's as much as Carlton were probably off the boil a little bit, and especially in that contest, that's the bit that probably hurts them the most, because that's their strength. It's been the strength for a number of years with big body mids. All their mids were playing today. A first game ruckman, did that have any impact? Who knows? But ultimately they lost in the part of the game that they're usually really, really good at. And Hawthorn, full props for tonight. They had, as we've spoken about a little bit, they had a poor loss last week against Melbourne. Not so much losing to Melbourne's nothing to kind of sneeze at, but just the way they lost in the factor they did. So for them to come back tonight has been a really big bounce back.
So I guess we're saying they weren't in their weight division tonight. That narrative changes, I think, next Saturday night, where they are in their same weight division. Based on what we've seen the last 7 weeks under Josh Fraser, I think you can put them in the same weight division as Collingwood next Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the part where Carlton fans, that's where you start to judge the team over the next little while. And ultimately they didn't have to win every game for the back end of the year, but there are a number of the games that they've got that become really, really important off tonight's loss. If they snuck tonight's one, it really sets up the back end of the year. But you look at just this is their back half of the season. They've got Collingwood next week, then they've got the Suns, then they play the Lions. That's going to be a tough one. Then you've got Saints, Dogs, finish with Freo. So they probably can only afford to probably lose 2, and you've got Lions and Freo. They're going to be very hard games to beat. So they're going to have to take care of the teams that are around them on the mark in terms of the top 10. But ultimately, if they win them, they should be in there anyway. So huge back half of the season for the Carlton Footy Club.
Let's go back down to Eddie Summerfield, because he's with one man who was incredibly impressive tonight in Blake Hardwick.
25 touches, Blake. That first half, I heard your captain, James Sicily, he said it was colder out there than the snow game in Canberra a couple of years back. How was it as a player tonight?
Yeah, the worst part for me was quarter time for some reason. I felt it the most there. And I looked in front of me, and Bailey McDonald's whole body was shaking. And but after that, it wasn't too bad. It seemed to keep warm. I didn't have too many rotations on the bench, so I think I was lucky in that case. But the boys were going to the bench, got pretty fresh out there, I think.
Mate, the boys on the bench, they had it pretty easy tonight. I saw the doctor run down to the rooms. He grabbed a big bucket of hot water so they could warm their hands up. They had what would be ice packs on any other night. They had warm water in them to keep their hands warm. So you're well looked after on the bench as well in these cool conditions.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing that goes numb is your fingers. So, and I guess you need your fingers for your ball drop and all that type of stuff. So the hot water helps on the bench. And yeah, it was pretty cold out there.
Blake, Sam Docherty here, mate. How impressive was it this week in terms of how you went last week in the contest to see such a big shift in the group?
Yeah, it was great. We were obviously asleep for that first half last week, and we were pretty disappointed with our efforts. But we went all right in the second half, and we wanted to build that momentum from last week's second half. And the boys come out firing tonight. It probably helped the conditions for that mentality, I guess, that side of the games, because it was just out there to have fun, really, and have a crack. You can't do much more in those conditions.
And how much fun is it playing with Big Tom Barrass behind the ball? It seems like a bit of a brick wall down there in terms of the ball comes in, you're never beaten in the air because he's always there flying over the top. Yeah,
definitely. He's got a good leap on him, and he's a big fella, so it's hard to get a mark on him, and it's been good, the mixture of him, Sis, Battle, who wasn't out there tonight, but Noah Mraz comes in and plays a similar role and has been outstanding for us. So he's had two good weeks coming into the side. So it's been great to play with those boys.
Blake, Meg McDonald up here. I'm just interested in how explicit you guys were about the conditions tonight and how they developed as the game went on. Is that something you trust with your experience that sort of goes unsaid and you just know how to adapt, or are you looking at really being explicit with switching modes before and halfway through the game?
Ideally we're going into the game and wanted to play our way and attack and play fast, but as soon as we ran out, it was pouring. So that changes pretty quickly, and Sam does talk about it, but at the end of the day, it is smarts by the players as well to adapt and just play a bit safer and gain more territory and less handball. So it worked all right.
In responding to last week, Sam spoke a bit about behaviours. That word was mentioned a lot. You spoke a little bit before about the changes this week, but what behaviours are you seeing in your teammates when you're at your best? What was missing and what's come back in for the last 6 quarters?
What was missing, I think, was our pressure in contest, and that our game comes off that. the conditions probably helped with that side of the game tonight. It was a bit easier under pressure with how the game was played, but I thought we nailed those two sides of the game with the pressure and contest.
And sorry, Shane. One more. Just as you're looking forward with those behaviours, and as you look to accelerate towards finals, we know going from last week to this week the improvement, but what is left untapped for the Hawthorn Football Club as you approach September?
I feel like we haven't played our best yet. We've got a lot of outs, and the boys that have come in have played well, but we still haven't played to our best of our ability, I feel like, yet. So hopefully, the last month we've been in some interesting weather. So hopefully we can get a couple of nice games, and we can get back to our attacking style.
Hey Blake, just before we let you go, did you have a good seat for Marby or Joel's big hanger down in the goal square?
I was probably the furthest away, but I still got to him, and I could still see it from where I was. It was amazing. I think he's might be in the running for the mark of the year, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, he got a fair bit of height, not only in the wet, and did a tumble turn as he came off as well. So, no, a great grab. Congratulations on your game too, mate. It was fantastic, and well done on the win. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Blake, to join us, he's standing alongside Eddie Summerfield.
Adam Cerra, it's a cold, wet night. That first half, what was the messaging from Fraser going out to play in those conditions?
It's a bit of old school footy, to be honest. Like, obviously, it's probably one of the wettest games of the year, and you almost go back to the basics, the fundamentals, try and get some field position on the ground, and the contest just becomes even more crucial. So it was pretty simple messaging. Hawthorn's obviously a really good side, but I don't think you don't prepare that often for playing footy in those type of conditions, but it's where the fundamentals and the basics really come out.
How have you gone? Have you spoken to the coach post-game? What's kind of the messaging been? The mood in the rooms, it doesn't feel like a loser's rooms. It feels reasonably upbeat in here.
Yeah, I mean, we made a commitment weeks ago that we're going to be process-driven, win or loss, and the past 7 weeks we've done exactly that. Come Monday morning, we move forward pretty quickly and focus on our process and getting better every day. So, it didn't go away tonight. We obviously weren't good enough in the contest, and Hawthorn. Reports to them, they played very well, and we expect more from us. We went away from our process a little bit, but come Monday morning, we're locking straight back in, and our focus is right on Collingwood after we get back to work.
Ches, it's Doc up here, mate. Have you got any word on Georgie? How he is? We only heard lower back, so any update would be great.
Hey Doc, how you going? I think he's just had a bit of a back spasm, so I'm not fully sure, but. Georgie in his history, but I think it was more of a precaution than just a knock to the back, which I think is pretty common in those conditions.
It just obviously changed your role a fair bit. Disappointing to get done in the contest. I'm sure you guys would be. You're a very proud group. What happened in there? What did Hawthorn do? Was it as simple as they just won the footy and went harder at it, or was there more to it?
It was probably more on the fundamentals around the contest. I mean, there's obviously a lot of loose balls tonight. But contest both in the air and on the ground. But I just think they got the edge over us a little bit tonight. And as you know, we're a proud group, and that's probably our one wood in there, our contest. So for us, we're obviously a bit disappointed, but let's get back to work and keep training this week and trying to get better at it each day.
Adam, Meg McDonald up here. Disappointing match overall for the team tonight, but we were impressed again with some of your younger players, the way they stood up, the things that they've been showing across the year and especially in the past couple of weeks. I'm just talking about Taylor Byrne, Harry Dean. What are you seeing from the up-and-coming players that can keep you excited?
I'm just loving that they're playing with their energy. They're obviously young, and they're adding something to our group. So, I think tonight we had 6 players who've debuted this year playing on the side, and what I love is that they're all committed to their role and their job and playing their part. So, they all bring their strengths and their flair to it individually, but I'm just so impressed by their characters to just focus on their role and know that they're valued for that. And I think they're having a great year, all of them.
Adam, really appreciate your time after the game. Obviously a disappointing loss, but I tell you what, mate, 70,000 here tonight in the pouring rain. I can only hazard a guess at what the crowd will be next week for Carlton and Collingwood.
Yeah, these are the ones you're circling the calendar. So, we're very much looking forward to it.
You're a ripper. Good luck. Appreciate your time post-game.
Thanks, guys.
Adam Cerra.